Okay, so that's number one step done, machine the shaft fixturing. Okay, the next thing I want to do is machine the actual flange bushing itself now. Do all the exterior work, the outside diameter turnings, and do the internal boring and get the whole piece completely made. And then I'll be ready to go to step 3. Okay, it's time to machine the flange workpiece itself now. That's about a ½ inch on the drawing. So I think I'll do is I will use this here piece here of aluminum bar stock, and I will cut it, rough cut it to about 3/4 of an inch. And here's the way I think I'm going to do it. On the one side, to get this cut, on the one side here, I'll face it off, and then I will put it in my larger chuck jaws, face it off, and bring this here diameter down to about, probably to about maybe 100 thousandths or so. Then turn it around in the chuck jaws, and then face off the other side, and then take that down until I have a 1/8 inch flange here, and I have this down to the diameter of about, we said about 800 thou, I think it was in the drawing. And then I can give final machine on both sides here to the exact length it needs to be, which is about a ½ inch in height altogether. Okay, now I got the one side flat here, I can turn around my chuck jaws and put it tight against the chuck jaws and machine the other side now. Okay, well I have in the big jaws here right now, the wide jaws. I might as well go ahead and machine this here wide part down, which we said was 810 thou diameter. Machine that down first so I have a wider grip to grip onto, more secure, and that goes down to about 255 thousandths in depth. And so I'll keep on facing this off to get that diameter for that part. Then once I get that part, then I can switch it over and change the chuck jaws back to the small chuck jaws, and then I can grip it there, and then I can start working on the other side with the flange, and that's 70 some thousandths of depth on the back side of that here that sits on top of the motor bearing itself. Okay, after I touched off, I set my dial gauge and I brought it in 250 thou and set my depth stop for that. Next I'll touch off, and then I will come across and I will get the diameter dimension marked out as well. Okay, I touched off the side here too now, and now I'm going to bring it in my 340 some thousandths. That will give me a full diameter here then of 810 thousandths. That should be my finished diameter, about 810 thousandths there, and that would be for the bushing itself. Okay, 810 thou. That's the diameter I'm looking for. Okay, I switched back to my inside, or the outside gripping jaws here now. The smaller ones. I had the larger ones on before they gripped the big piece here. So I have it back on these here jaws here now so I can machine this here. However though, I need to machine this here down so it's going to fit inside the fan housing itself. When I put this tight to the jaws here, tight to the jaws back here, I look at my indicator on here, I see that I have no run out. So I know that I can set that tight to the jaws and have a nice parallel surface here. But the only problem is I have to machine this all the way back, and then we'll be touching into the jaws here. So I have to pull this forward a little bit. So when I pull this forward, I'm going to have to use this here indicator to tap this back and forth to get this to be parallel again. Okay, so now I pull this away from the jaws here now, so that I can actually machine back all the way back and not touch the jaws. But now I got to indicate it in because you can see here how I got a lot of run out now, so I have to tap this here back and forth here until I get this here to zero in. Okay, I have it indicated in now. As I turn it, see the dial's not moving. So we're good there. So now I have all that gap I need here now, so I can machine all the way back to the jaws here now and not hit the jaws. Alright. Yeah, now I want to machine this down now, just to get enough so I can get this here fan housing to fit on there now. And so that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to machine this down at the there's my crank again. Getting close. Okay, that fits nice. Fits real good. Okay, next what I'll do now is I'll take this back tight to my jaws here again and make sure everything's leveled or flat here, everything. And then I'll start machining this here flange by doing the facing cuts again, getting that there diameter I need for the bottom, and working into that there 1/8 inch flange here. Okay, what that's for is that's going to fit inside this here hole right here. Okay, I'll move this here 300 thou. And that'll locate the 1/8 inch flange from here up. Allows me to set my stop there now for that. Now, just in case this here hole is not concentric with the rest of the fan housing, because this is just a broken piece right here that came out of there. It broke off of here. So just in case this is not concentric with the rest, I want to make this a little bit looser than this here, so that it actually fits in there with about maybe 25 thousandths to 50 thousandths clearance, total clearance. So now I'll just go in here and I'll just clean up the shoulder and come back out, and then that flange will be made. Okay, now to clean up that shoulder, what I'll do is I'll just go straight in now. Until I hit my depth stop. As I hit right there the depth stop, and then I'll just start pulling out now on the cross slide. Okay, now there's one more thing I have to do on this here. I have to machine this down now, this inner flange here now down to the proper length of the whole workpiece from here to there. This is the part that's the top of it, and this goes inside. This has to be machined down, and it has to be exactly to the size of the original here, which says bearing right here. That's where the bearing that the fan broke off of, and I have to get that exact dimension there, which looks like about 440. I have to double check that, and then what I'll do is I will take my calipers and I'll come in here and check that full length there, and then subtract what's necessary off the bottom here to get that 440 or whatever that is over there. I have to double check, make sure it's 440. But whatever that is over there, I have to bring this from here out to here now, the same exact length for that to fit in the inside the motor housing here properly. Okay, I need to take off 235 thousandths off the bottom here. Okay, touched off, come down to 235 thou, 100, 200, 35, And that's where we're going to be machining to. I'm going to set my depth stop over there, get that tight, and ready to go. Okay. 450, 445, right there, 450 thou. That's what I'm looking for right there. So I got the proper height now of the workpiece. And the reason why I had to leave so much of that on the outside here to take down was because I need enough stock that I can hold in my other jaws of my in the lathe here, because if I didn't have enough of that to hold on to, then I wouldn't have any kind of grip. So that's why I had to leave myself enough stock to be able to hold on to while I was machining the other side. Okay, so now the next thing would be to bore this to the exact inner diameter that it needs to be now. Okay, my boring bar will just barely fit in there, so I'm going to have to grind a little bit off the back side. But before I do that, I have to enlarge the hole in here. I start with a 5/16 right here, but I need to enlarge this a little bit larger yet, so I can at least get my boring bar started. So it looks like this next, looks like an end mill is going to work okay on this here. I think it's a 3/8 end mill, and that gives us a little bit of clearance for the boring bar to get in there. So let's go with this here end mill now and do the boring with this end mill first. Now I need to take my time with this here because this here end mill being 3/8 is 375, and I only need to open this up to about 393, I think it is, the bore. So I got to be careful I don't go too far off with this here back and forth. I got to go in nice and straight and keep it like a nice reaming job. Okay, we'll see how this works. Nice and smooth. As long as I keep it wet like this here, it looks good. Just doing a nice reaming job on it. There's a very nice smooth bore with that, and here's our shafting fixture right now, just to see how that's going to fit in there. If that's going to be okay, it's just now, it's not going in all the way, which is good. So I have to bore that to match this now. So that's good. That's not too wide of a hole. It's good. Okay, now I get my boring bar. I'll have to work that boring bar a little bit down on one side there so I can get that to fit in there, and then I can start boring this to the proper inside diameter. Okay, here's the boring bar I'm going to use, and it just doesn't quite go in. On the back side here, it's very close. So on the back side here, I'm going to take a little off, and I'm going to do that over here on my thing here. Okay, that'll go through now. Let's take a little bit off the back side here, a little bit, straighten it out a little bit, and we'll have it working. Okay, that's got plenty of clearance there now. Nice and flat on one side, and I got it tapered down a little bit for clearance, but that has a lot of clearance now, where I can just take it straight in and not be rubbing against the back wall. Okay, check it for clearance, and it works. Okay, check it here quick here. Very close. A little more yet. Okay, there we go. Alright, that should work. That's the fixture in there, so that works under there now. So I can now take this out and start working on the fan housing now and get the fan riveted, holes drilled. Okay, what I do now is just put on here just to check it here. Okay, it's going to work good.